Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com or buy my book at crackthefemalecode.com. This video is probably one that's going to be a little bit near and dear to my heart because there's a video article also on Yahoo right now on a young lady called Cheng, named Cheng, C-H-E-N-G. The title is Viral Dance Video Turns It into a Successful Startup. She started a website called Give It 100, and I like what she has to say here. In fact, I'm going to play a little bit. I don't know if it's going to come across. I'm going to turn up the volume. Hold on.
Kind of like a skills vampire. The first time that I learned a skill was in 7th grade, and I remember there were these boys spinning a notebook on their finger like a basketball. I just remember thinking that they were so cool and I wasn't. And so I went back home and I tried to learn. Eventually I could actually spin the book on my finger. And that's when I realized that things that look like magic are oftentimes just pure dumb practice.
Alright, I want to leave it right there. So basically what she says, I'm going to read it off right here. She says, I guess you could say I'm a skills vampire. I don't know if it caught the very beginning of that. And she says, in the 7th grade, I saw some boys spinning a notebook on their finger like a basketball. I went home and tried to learn and eventually got to the point where I could spin it. And they're actually showing her spin it really good. And she says, and that was when I realized that things that look like magic are really just dumb practice. And that is what this video is about. She goes on and talks about, let me add this piece. If you haven't seen her video, it has 4 million hits, by the way, and it's on YouTube. It's called Girl Learns to Dance in a Year, okay? And it shows her one day at a time learning one pop. She's doing like I don't know what it's called. I think it's called pop dancing. But how she can look like a robot. And how she goes, she saw a video of some guy that was literally, and it's incredible. This guy literally looks like a machine. And you're like, whoa, how did he do that? And she said, I could never do that. And so I think she said, I don't know what she said, but she wanted to learn how to dance like that. And it shows her literally breaking one step down at a time and practicing a 5-step process over and over and over and over and over, and then the next one, she's adding to it. And I don't know if it took her a year. It says a girl learns how to dance in a year. My point is this. There's too many people in the world that think, oh, you can't do anything unless you were born that way. You have to be skilled. You have to be born with magic. And I think that's what she said in the video. It looks like magic when they're doing it. She goes, but the thing that you fail to see is the decades, literally plural, decades of practice, day after day after day, to get to that point 10, 15, 20 years later to where it seems effortless to them, almost as a God, it's like magic. There are skills that I will teach you in my course that will do the same thing for you if you're willing to practice. The cool thing is that it's not going to take decades, but it will take time, it will take practice, and it will take effort, okay? Now, the reason why I'm putting this up is because in my entire life, I've busted my ass in every sport I did, every class I've taken, to get an A, to win a state championship or national ranking or whatever. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, all my life people would tell me how lucky I was. And when I was young, I didn't know how to respond, and I felt like this anger and this frustration until I was in I think it was 19, 20, 21, and my older sister said that to me. Oh, you're just so lucky. Everything you do, you're the best. And she was like mad at me, and I'm like, what's your problem? And she kept going on, oh, God's just blessed you, and you're so lucky. And I was pissed. So I was like, what do you mean? How do you figure? She goes, well, everything you do, you're always the best. And I was like, yeah, but I wasn't born that way. She goes, yes, you were. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, well, I wish you would have told me that. She goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, I wish you would have told me that 15 years ago so I wouldn't have had to get up at 5:30 in the morning, do a 30, 40-minute intense warm-up and stretching routine, and then go jog 6 or 7 miles, literally in the freezing cold, in the wet rain, in the snow every single day, and then after school, run another 3 or 4 miles, and then go to practice for 2.5 hours after that. She kind of like moped off. The point I'm trying to say is, when you learn small, tiny, distinct understandings and then add skills to that you can practice and improve upon, you will get better in 100 days. So maybe this is my adding to her community. Give it 100. Maybe I'll send them this video. I've run into married men guys in long-term relationships, guys have been divorced who have, I don't understand women. Well, here's the good news. Now you can. I made a breakthrough discovery based on 20 years of research, study, practice, and application that actually work. When you take my course, I'm going to open you up to the right side of your brain. And when you are open to that side of your brain, all of a sudden you're going to see the world from a different perspective. And a cousin of mine who's actually a marketing expert is like, you might want to call your course Changed Perspectives or Shifted Perspectives, because the idea is to get you to shift, to see things from different angles, from different ideas. And once you do that, you're coming from a place of understanding. Now, a lot of guys are like, oh, understanding. What? I had a client who actually said he was younger. He said, what does that have to do with anything? And I said, everything. He goes, I just want to get laid. I'm like, then you need to understand her. You need to understand her communication system. You need to understand the way she receives love. You need to understand the way she's turned on, the way she's romanced. You need to understand what romance means to a woman. It's not opening doors. It's not paying for dinner. It's not any of those things. But that's what most men think it is. So when I say understanding, I mean romantic, passionate, sexual understanding. It's what she secretly wants you to know. Whether it's your wife, your girlfriend, or that single girl that you can't figure out how to get her to go on a date with you. There are some powerful understandings that melt her heart and turn her on romantically, passionately, and quite seductively. You understand these things, all of a sudden you're going to gain power in dating, relationships, and sex. It's the kind of dating relationship power that she wants you to have in the first place because it turns her on and it fills her heart with love, most importantly. This is Mike Kollin. Check me out at MikeKollin.com or go to crackedfemalecode.com. And if you're watching this on YouTube, click on that subscribe button. It's an easy click. Talk to you soon.